Hello, everybody. Welcome to this first activity in English from the coding club of the Benny Fab, the Fab Lab of the Benny Library. Most of our content right now is in French on our channel, YouTube channel, and we offer this first activity in English every week on Thursday, 3 o'clock. 3 p.m. So you can join us. The Zoom link is in the description of the video, and we will be posting every activity on YouTube. So today we'll start basic with coding. So even if you never coded before, if it's your first time, it's an activity for you, and we'll use the Scratch website. So we'll start with a brand new project, so you can go to scratch.mit.edu. In order to open an account, you can sign in. Right now, I'm not connected because I have trouble with my connection, but if you want to save your work, you can create an account. It's free. Otherwise, you can always save your project down in your computer. So what we'll do today, we'll start with a very basic notion of coding, and we will code some movement for my character. So if we take a look at Scratch, how it's made, you have a bunch of blocks on your left. Each block is either an action, so the square block are actions that you can take, and so I have a parameter, so a number or text you can change in order to change how the action is performed. The little capsule there, a round shape, are what we call variable. They contain numbers. So in this case, the X position. So Scratch is built like a grid, XY grid, and we have a set of coordinates. So this is the value of my X and Y position. In looks, I can say stuff like if I say my X position for 2 seconds, it will tell me my X position for 2 seconds. So those are the instruction set, and you can combine them like that. So one of the first thing you'll do is go through the different one and see what can do what. Looks will control looks. You can play sound. Events are things that start a sequence of action, that start a sequence of code. So if you check the round top part of it, and you can attach a bunch of action to create what we call a sequence. So if we take a look, it will move 10 steps, turn, go to random position, slide back there. And if we click that, you see it happen right away. So building sequence of instructions that are started by event is basically what we'll do. In control, you have some funny looking block where you can control the flow of your program. So you can either repeat stuff like turning 10 times, turning 15, 30 times, turning 60. So you can repeat stuff. You can also check for condition. So every time you see this shape, it's an answer that can be either true or false. Right now, my cat is not touching my mouse pointer, but if I press the key space, my key space is pressed, so it's true. You can plug that in here. So if this is true, then do that. Let's say repeat 30 times. So if I click and I'm not pressing, it doesn't do it. And if I click while I'm pressing, it does it. So those are the basic tool you'll use. So you can wait until something is true. If something is true, then do that. Otherwise, else do that. Repeat until something is true. And you have a bunch of stuff you can check to see if it's true or not. And you have operator. So you have a lot of blocks like that. We won't see them all today, of course, but the idea is to explore what does what. So the challenge right now would be to build different way of moving your character. So how could you code something that will make your character move and make it so it can reach any point on the screen? So I want different way for you to move the character so it can reach any point in the screen. And there's a multiple way to do that. So the first one I will show you is an event-driven control. So I will just duplicate my cat right now and hide it here, you see, show hide. So we'll start with one and we'll do differently. So the first one is an event based. So let's say when I press the key, I could move around. So let's do up, down, left, and right. So those are 4 different events. And what action do we want to do? So we could do different thing. So we could make it turn right, turn left, move 10 step if we do up, and if we want to move backward with the back arrow, we still use a move, but we move by minus 10 step. So that's a way we can make our character move. We can either turn, move backward in both directions. So that's one way to make movement. But if you notice, I cannot do both at the same time. I cannot move and turn at the same time. I could do a different version of the event system, but using the X and Y coordinate. So instead of turning my character around, let's hide this one. So instead of turning it around, what we'll do, we will simply change X and Y. So change it by 10 if we want to go up, the Y by 10, so it will increase and go up, minus 10 if we want to go down, change the X by minus 10 to the left, and by 10 to the right. So that's another way to implement event-based system. And you notice that my character doesn't rotate anymore, but I can move it up, down, left, right, since I simply change the value of my coordinate. The other system work by changing the direction and then make it move forward to the right side of your character. So forward move is always forward and always to the right side of the character. So those are 2 ways to do event-based movement. They are, in my opinion, a little bit clunky because you cannot do both at the same time. You cannot press up and down, left and right. So another way to do that would be to use what we call a game loop. So what we'll do, we will start with the green flag. So at the beginning of the game, we will take a bunch of commands that will repeat forever. So every frame, so every time we go through the whole code, every time we draw a new image on the screen, we want to check if I'm pressing the key. So if I'm pressing, instead of checking when I press it, I check if it's pressed. It's a little bit different because it's not an event, it's a state. So it's not the event of pressing the key, it's the state if the key is pressed or not. So let's go with the same 4 arrow. Down, right, and left. And just to show you a new trick, you could do dual control. So let's say you want to control with either the arrow keys or the ASDW keys. You could do OR. So in this case, up arrow or W, right arrow, or D, left arrow, or A, and down arrow, or S. That way, both keys will be able to control the player. And then here you do either the rotation or the X and Y. So you have two options. So let's duplicate it. So no, let's create a new sprite here. This one will do the change X. So left and right for the X, up and down for the Y. So notice also, do not use the set X and set Y because this will give it a set value and never change it again. So set it to 10, no matter how many times I set it to 10, it will still be 10. And in my case, I want to move. So plus, plus, negative for the left, negative 10, and of course, negative 10 for the Y to go down. Let's say what it looks like. And I need to press the green arrow to start that. And you see right now I'm checking, not pressing anything so it doesn't move. And now I can move and notice that I can go in diagonals and it's a lot more fluid as a control scheme. And I could do the same thing with turning right, left, moving 10 step or moving minus 10 step. And we'll have the same kind of fluidity in the movement, and we can move really well to any other directions. One last thing I want to show you is another way to do it, but this cat is not the best for it, so let's go and get another cat, and I'll take the top-down cat for it. So this one I can use another loop, so I'll go and get an infinite loop once again, and I'll just point in the direction of my mouse pointer and move, let's say, a little bit slower, 5 step every time. So you see, I can now control the movement of my cat with my mouse pointer. But there's a little glitch. So when I go here and I'm close enough, I will move 5 step, overshoot my mouse, flip back, 5 step, but still overshoot, and so on and so on. So that's the flickering you see. Overshoot, come back, overshoot, come back every step. What we'll do, we'll only tell it to move if the distance between my mouse pointer and my cat, in my case, you see that gives me a value, is greater than, if it's more than the 5 step I want to take. So that way I will never overshoot my target. So if it's less than 5 step to my target, I won't take those last 5 steps to overshoot. So that fix the glitch. So if there's less than 5 step, it doesn't move. So there you go. You have a bunch of different ways to move your character in Scratch. And we've seen a couple of the basic notion. So variables that contain value, Boolean, so true or false statement that you can check in conditional if statement, and we've seen loop too. So building block of coding that we've used to make our character move. So like, share, follow. Don't hesitate to join us during the workshop. The link is in the description. Thank you very much.